What's the story behind your first breakup? She moved a couple cities over, which made it difficult to see each other on a regular basis. Long-distance relationships can be challenging enough as they are. But then COVID hit and made it even harder. About a year into COVID, she contacted me and told me she wasn't really feeling the same way about me anymore. I actually agreed with her and said the same. We ended up splitting on good terms and we remain friends to this day. It was hard for the first couple weeks, and even to this day sometimes I think what could have been. But ultimately I think it was for the best. Are back, so after 6 years we split permanently. And ever since she has dated really unattractive guys that people would even say they were unattractive, that way they would have hard time cheating on her. Facts, I'm not being conceited either. T said, and when he told me we were over, he meant we would just take a break for a couple of days and come back together later. But I simply don't understand the hidden meaning behind what people say. I was very surprised when we went for coffee, and I realized he thought it was a date, and I was like, oh no. I thought you wanted to be friends. I've cried you out. I'm already over you. Sorry. LOL. My first real GF was awesome. But she wasn't going to college, late 1980s. All my friends thought she would be a loser, so talked me into dumping her. I was 17, 18. She was in the cool crowd, but she smoked and my friends said smokers were losers. Now she is a small-time real estate magnate, and her kids are playing D1 sports. It is what it is. We still talk and love each other. We had an abortion. But it all makes me sad I caved into peer pressure, because she smoked. He place never been there before. It was nice. He told his family he wanted to see me. I said tell him no. I left 2 days after that. Then I found out he came to my city looking for me. I said no again. We were friends for a while beforehand. They asked to be a couple, but we were both young, so we didn't really know what that meant. We ended up kissing at a house party their parents threw, then didn't know what to do after that, so we broke up right after, since we did the couple thing and didn't need to date anymore. We went to different middle schools. I wrote her a long text message breaking up with her nicely and sent it to her. Then the next day mentioned it to our mutual friends. I must have sent it to the wrong number. She ended up hearing about my text from our friends and called me confused that night. Not my best look. She dumped me, but we remained friends for years afterwards. She's since passed away. It was my first serious relationship, and in hindsight I wasn't yet mature enough to be in one. And I'm sure she got exasperated with me at times, but was kind enough never to say so. Still, nothing but fond memories. There wasn't one. He just ghosted me, pretended like nothing happened. Twice because he came back once. LOL. I was so dumb and naive. He dated all my friends and got kicked out of our school. BC he kept bringing marijuana. This went on 6th, 7th grade. I always wanted a good guy, but never got one. I'm too nice. He tried to rip my head off because I asked him to stop loaning my stuff to other people without asking. Fortunately, there was no damage to my trachea. Unfortunately, there was permanent damage to the vertebrae in my neck. So 25 years later, I still remember him every time I try to look to the left. Started dating in high school, then went to the same college. He cheated on me. Found him kissing a girl he swore was a friend at a bench right outside my dorm window. Idiot. He also texted his ex many times. I dealt with it. But his breaking point was that I didn't go to church enough. LOL. First one was a 12-year-old relationship. Was my high school GF and married her. Unfortunately, we didn't grow together. She matured quicker than me, which I knew was my fault. We ended up doing a divorce on mutual grounds. Last time I spoke to her she was doing well, which I'm happy for her. I was 16. It was a girl from my work. We hung out a few times. Blah. Blah blah. My friends and I were going to Boston for a concert. So after our shift together, I told her I would call her when we got to Boston, and she said you don't have to and walked away. I was in 6th grade. She called me from the skating rink to tell me she was breaking up with me because someone else asked her out there and she hung out with him all night and had fun. My mum said I couldn't go because we were doing a family movie night at home. Never had one. Started dating at 16. Dated the same girl for 6 years. Married after college graduation. We just celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary. Secret marry your best friend. Who else do you want to hang with the rest of your life? I was a teenager and thought I was in love. My BF at the time started getting into trouble and doing drugs, etc. I didn't want to be involved or stray down that path. I chose to leave him, even though it was hard after 1.5 years together. Friends set us up. She was so pretty and sweet. I was just in awe of her when she held my hand. It was like angels singing. Then recess ended and we had to go back to different classrooms. 3rd grade is difficult on relationships. I had mono and my best friend caught him cheating with his ex. It was devastating, but looking back he was so bad for me. Dropped out of school. Gangbanger. Drank and did drugs. He did me a favor, I just didn't realize it at the time. In HS we were at the beach with friends. I walked up to him and said I think we should break up and left with our friends while he walked home in the rain. He is today one of my closest friends, LOL. I came out of the closet after graduating high school, and he still closeted, freaked out, thinking that people would realize he was gay too if they saw us together, even just as friends in public. In our early 20s. She was 2 years older than me. After 4 years, she decided it was time to get herself a real man and moved in with him the same day I found out she cheated on me with her boss. He stole my ring pop, a cheap plastic ring with a giant candy jewel, and wouldn't give it back. It was my favorite flavor, cherry, and I had been saving it all recess. We were 7. One minute she was telling me we were soulmates. The next, she was fucking another guy, dumping me. I found it all intense and weird and distant, like I was an external observer. A whole broke up with me over text or some messenger, I don't remember which, after 6 years out of the blue. No legitimate reason given. No real closure. I'm still plotting revenge. Dude was asked out by a different girl and he went straight to her. Came back to me 2 weeks later after our breakup, and I told him to F off for LOL. She had a lot of emotional trauma behind losing her father as a child and wanted to rush into family life and growing up when we were only 15. He cheated on me with my best friend and ended up getting her pregnant. We were in 6th grade at the time, and we are now in 11th grade. He kept putting his dick in other people. Actually, that's the story of all my breakups with men. My breakups with women vary a bit more. We just had a 3-month summer fling which ended up in her telling me that she realized she loved me as a friend, but not as a partner. First girl to break my heart, there were many, was just too young. I was 22 and she was 18 and too young to settle down to one guy. I was 12 and she posted on profile pic LGBT sticker. My opinion about her changed instantly from great person to what a crap. He broke up with me solely because I didn't want to sleep with him, despite only knowing and dating him for less than a month. We were both 7 or 8 and thought that if two people of the opposite gender were friends, they were a couple. She wanted a career. I wanted a career. We both pursued our work goals instead of relationship goals. She broke up with me. Never figured out why. But it doesn't really matter. I hope she's happy. She died. Not sure we were actually a couple yet, but we were close. It did break my heart. I just didn't like him anymore, and he was seeing another classmate behind my back. He cheated on me. I broke up with him via a portal, the meme. Embarrassing times. She went back to her ex-boyfriend and said her family pressured her into it. She emailed me I'd been breaking up with her too much and I was immature. I become a rebound. I didn't know he's still in love with his ex. She found out I was poor or in poverty. She was kinda uppity. We just grew apart. It happens, especially in high school.